and this is my daughter Reese, and we're videotaping this science experiment from my front porch because the library is still closed. I thought I would take a few minutes to do this experiment with you, especially with Easter coming, because a lot of the stuff that we're going to use in this experiment you probably have at home to get ready for dyeing Easter eggs. So did you know that inside, it's called a rubber egg experiment, by the way, and did you know that inside each of these eggs, right inside the shell, is a thin membrane that holds the guts in place? And it's right between the shell and the egg white, that slimy white snotty looking stuff that's inside an egg. That's where it's at. And these membranes are used to protect the chick from exposure to bacteria as they're growing. But it is semi-permeable, which means that some things can penetrate or go through that membrane. So in this experiment, we are going to need an egg. You can do this with multiple, but we're just showing you with one. And you will need vinegar, some color of food dye. If you're doing multiple, you can do multiple jars, and then some kind of jar for each individual egg that you do, okay? In this experiment, we're gonna show how the acid in the vinegar eats through the calcium shell, but it doesn't affect the membrane. So what we need to do first is move the camera so that you can see my table. So we're going to take the vinegar and we are going to fill our container. I'm using a plastic mason jar thing. You can use any kind of tall container, and you're going to fill it about halfway full with vinegar. Okay. Oh, mine went a little bit more. Okay. And then I'm going to add about 10 to 15 drops of whatever food coloring you choose. So you want to count with me, Reese? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're going to make it really dark. And then you kind of can swish it around. You can use a spoon if you want to kind of swish it around. Yep, it's blue. We'll just wipe it off. And then we are going to take our egg and we are going to carefully, because it's raw, it is not a hard-boiled egg. And we're going to set it into that vinegar. And it's going to sink to the bottom, and we're going to leave that egg sit on our countertop in this vinegar solution with the color for 48 to 72 hours. I'm going to show you what it looks like after 48 to 72 hours. Remember, I told you this is kind of an extended lesson, so I had one already pre-planned. Here we go. I'm going to set that one down. Mine was red in my first experiment. And you can kind of see there's like a scummy, filmy film on the top of the jar. When that happens, your experiment's ready. So I'm going to tilt it down, and we are going to take the egg out. At home, you're going to use probably a sink. You can see my egg looks kind of icky gooky. At home, you're going to probably use a sink, but because I'm outside, I'm just going to use a bowl of water, and I'm going to take the egg out. And I am going to carefully wash off my egg. And what is so cool is it's kind of feels like a water balloon. Wait a minute. I'll let you touch it in just 1 second, kiddo. I'm going to wipe it off. It's a red egg. I had a bowl of water there. So you can see I'm holding it. There is no shell left. And the reason we call it a rubber egg experiment is because it kind of bounces. It can kind of bounce and roll on the table. You want to feel it?
It's like a water balloon.
Yeah, it feels like a water balloon. So you can play with these. You can bounce them, roll them, do whatever you want with them. You can play with them for a little bit, but be careful, because if you break this open, there is still stuff in here. The yolk is going to be yellow because of its high protein content. It does not allow cells to absorb the coloring liquid. So after you do this, I want you to run a couple tests from home. I'm going to break it open in a minute. You can try this with other liquids. See if the shell dissolves out of other liquids like soda or plain water, that kind of thing. Yeah. But after you make it, let the egg sit on the counter and see, does it dry out? Or what if you put it in a solution of salt water But let's see what happens when we cut it open. I've got a pan here. Let's see if that's true, if this yolk really is yellow. Where did my spoon go? Oh, ready? Here we go.
Oh, jeez.
And it bursts like a water balloon. The membrane is here. It is still, it looks kind of like a broken water balloon.
It does.
If you look. So that's the membrane. And then you can see the yolk itself is still in place, and there is still some egg white. It's a little pink though. Isn't that cool?
There is egg. It's clear.
It's such a cool experiment. Try it at home. Post in the comments how your eggs turn out. See you soon.